Well, the 2015 Broncos started their Super Bowl season with a win, kind of like the Broncos got this Sunday. So there's that. Well, let's not get absurd here. So that's a comp that we'll have some fun with. But not everything has to be a parallel. Broncos win 20-12 over the Tennessee Titans, and they get the dub, so you can feel good about that. By the end of the game, the running game looked terrific. Those jabs that weren't going anywhere early, and certainly maybe the Broncos not running enough early, they were haymakers late, so you like that. But you don't like the giveaways, 4 of them. 3 turnovers for Bo Nix, you certainly don't like that. You love the defense. You love the pass rush. Strong in the front 7. Justin Sternad coming in for Dre Greenlaw, having a great day. The depth on the edge, because it wasn't just Jonathan Cooper and Nik Bonitto, of course. It was Dondrea Tillman with the pressure to set up a sack. It was Jonah Elliss with multiple pressures and a huge sack. It was Talanoa Hufanga on the back end as a guided missile, making plays, wreaking havoc, looking like the player who was a potential defensive player of the year a couple of years ago before he got injured. So these things are really, really exciting. So there are things about which you can feel good. But no doubt the Broncos were helped out by a Tennessee Titans team that has a lot of problems. You have a Titans team that had triple-digit yardage in penalties. I mean, that part was a mess. And the Broncos get their first touchdown by Brian Callahan really screwing things up in the last minute when they get the ball deep in Titans territory thanks to a terrific Jeremy Crawshaw punt. There's another guy who had a great day for the Broncos, the rookie punter, putting the rough preseason behind him with 3 punts inside the 20-yard line. Great job by him. But Brian Callahan down there deep in his own territory, frankly losing his mind. We recall what happened with the Broncos last year against the Chargers in that last minute of the half with some questionable play calling that led to the fair catch free kick and the Chargers field goal. Well, this was much worse, and it set up a Broncos touchdown that proved to be crucial in the game. So, yeah, the Broncos get it done, but certainly the Titans helping out. And Cam Ward, some moments certainly, but also the Broncos' pressure, especially down the stretch, making him look like a rookie. That's really what you expect. The Broncos take a lead, then crank up the pressure on a quarterback. They made Cam Ward look a bit skittish late. That's the success equation. Get a lead, get the run going, get those big runs like the one we saw from RJ Harvey, the longest run for the Broncos in nearly 3 years. And then, of course, J.K. Dobbins finishing off that drive with a touchdown. So the success equation works, but you can't have turnovers. Things might have worked earlier. The run game might have worked earlier, but you had the giveaways. Mike McGlinchey very pointed when I asked him about that in the locker room.
I just didn't think we got enough of a rhythm offensively in the first half to commit to running the football, to be able to impose our will on that team. We turned the ball over far too much. We didn't allow drives to even get started by not converting first downs, and 4 turnovers is egregious, and that has to stop. And when you turn the ball over 4 times, you don't get the privilege of running the football like that because you're not staying on the field. And so it's a full team effort. We got to be able to be better there. Thank God we have the defense that we do, and we'll get it cleaned up for next week.
I respect Mike because you can always get honesty from him that it's a win, but clearly Mike wasn't happy about the performance. Sean Payton wasn't happy about the offensive performance. Certainly, he said Bo Nix was gutsy, but that's not going to be good enough. And Bo Nix certainly knows it's not going to be good enough. He talked about the fumble in particular. Hey, he's got to have 2 hands on the ball.
Well, I took 2 hands off the ball, and that's the cardinal sin as a quarterback when you take two hands off the ball in the pocket against a good player who's going to be taught and going to have knowledge to just rip at the ball, and just happened quick, and I just should have had two hands on the ball in the pocket, but just can work on it, can get back to the technical basics, and just don't do it in the future.
If I had done this report based on the first 3 quarters of the game, certainly it would have been different. But seeing how things worked in the fourth quarter, especially finally seeing how wide zone did what it was supposed to do in the fourth quarter. I mean, we've seen these principles over the years. That's what it looks like. You wear down a defense, and then you get those big blows. Mike McGlinchey, of course, in this type of blocking scheme in his years with San Francisco, he knows what this looks like, as he explained.
Yeah, and I think that's the identity you want to have, is being able to wear a team out. You got to. But like I said, you have to earn the privilege to run the football. Like they turn the ball over on our side of the field 2 or 3 times, and having a bad turnover in our own in approaching the scoring territory, just can't happen. And we'll get those opportunities as we clean those things up, and we'll do it fast, because we can't live like this, because we gotta be better.
So inelegant, ugly, call it what you will, but it's a win. It's an acorn you can put in the tree, and they can't take that one away. The Broncos have a win, and then go to Indianapolis next week against a Colts team that ran riot over the Miami Dolphins. And certainly, as I've talked about, the Colts are looking at that game next week with great intensity, because here on this field last year, they feel like they let the playoffs slip away, that Jonathan Taylor in particular dropped a playoff bid in that end zone over there. They want to get it back against the Broncos. Also, just note this. The Colts wanted this game next week at home. This is a game that could have been in Germany, but the Colts said, no, we want this game in Indianapolis because it's important. So bear that in mind. They've been pointing to this one as one they think is going to be crucial. So the Broncos had better get some things right, better get things cleaned up, because an effort like the one they had today won't get the job done in Indianapolis next week. So plenty to come, of course, with coverage at denversports.com. And, of course, join Cecil Lammy and myself on Orange and Blue today at 5 p.m. Mountain Time on Monday and throughout the week. Until next time, take care, and thanks for watching. This was brought to you by our friends over at Matthews Fine Watches and Jewelry. They have time for you, and we'll talk to you next time.